So number 22, relate to. Domain 4, the form, structure, and sense. And here, you're looking at the ending mark. Here we have 2 full stop and 2 question mark. But the order for the full stop, they have 2 different orders. And again, for the question mark, 2 different orders. So number 1, I have to decide that is this a declarative sentence or interrogative sentence? Just to choose between the full stop and the question mark, then I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna do what later. Okay, so from where we're gonna know, I'm gonna take from the full stop here. And here he said, if these plants were grown in alkaline soil alongside grasses that aid in iron solubilization. Okay, till now this is dependent clause. And dependent clause can't stand alone. It need another part. So because of that, he put a comma here. He put a comma here. Then he said, Michael was determined to find out. Take care of find out. Because find out, the meaning for it means to answer. Find out means to answer. That means here there was a question. I got the indicator from where? From to find out. To find out means to answer, to discover. So to answer, to discover, to whatever, it's for a question. So here, it may be a question. Now we know that we're gonna cancel A and cancel B. Now let's go to the question. And as you can find, here it's yes, no question. So how can we make yes, no question? We put first the helping verb. Let me write with abbreviation. HV. Then the subject. Then the main verb. This is the construction or the component of yes, no question. So here we have blueberries could thrive. So subject, verb, no. Here could, helping verb, blueberries subject, thrive is the main verb. So the answer is gonna be D with an easy way. Let's go to 21. And again, we are in domain 4, skill number 1. How do you know? Because here we have verbs. Forces is a verb. To force, it's not a verb, it's infinitive. Forcing, it's not a verb, it's a gerund or participial. Forced is a verb and it can't be not a verb. Take care. How? If you remember, I told you when I'm explaining that in the basic, I told you the adjective, most of the adjective end with ing describe things or modify things. Most of the adjective that end with ed modify or describe people. So it can be a verb or not. Forces, if it's a verb, so it's gonna be in the present and in the singular form. The verb, if it's a verb force, so it's gonna be in the past and whether singular or plural. So now I wanna decide first. Do we need a verb or not? Take care, I can solve it by odd one out. Like I'm gonna say that there's not a verb, that not a verb, that is not a verb, so it's gonna be forces. But also you told me that force can be a verb in the past. So let's decide first, do we need a verb or not? So I'm gonna take from here, from the full stop. And let's read it together and analyze the sentence for number 21. Analyze the sentence for number 21. He said, although the monkeys prefer, although subordinate conjunction, monkey subject, prefer verb. So this is dependent clause. To eat vegetation and land-dwelling invertebrates, those food sources, this is the subject, may become the verb. So this is the independent. This is the independent. Unavailable because of extensive snow and ice cover. Okay, thank you. Now we have the dependent, comma, independent. It's a full sentence. What come after now? He said, comma, the monkeys to hunt for marine animals in a stream that have not frozen over. Ah, this is a phrase. Why? Why you don't choose a verb? Because actually we don't have compound verbs. And here it said snow and ice cover. Snow and ice. So no here compound verb or compound predicate. So I don't need a verb. I don't need a verb. Thank you, A. Force is still with me. Can I say to force? No, we don't need to force because this is a phrase and it's a modifier phrase. Modifier phrase. So thank you to force. Now we are between forcing and forced. As we said, ing for things, ed for people. Let's read it again to find that he is modifying what? He said, although the monkeys prefer to eat vegetation and land-dwelling invertebrates, those food sources may become unavailable because since it's no and I talk about the sources, the food sources, the invertebrate. So the answer is going to be forcing. Forcing. The question before, we are still in domain 4, but this time is going to be domain 4, skill number 2, boundaries. Boundaries. How do you know? Because we have conjunction, comma, conjunction, nothing, comma. So how are we going to know? Take the sentence again and analyze it. Where the beginning? From here. This is the beginning. Oh my god, it's the whole part. Because we don't have another full stop here. We don't have another full stop here. So what we're gonna do, let's find. We're gonna analyze. He said the Alvari theory, subject, developed is not a verb. Because we cannot separate between the subject and the verb. We said it many times. We cannot separate between the subject and the verb. We cannot. So, this is not a verb. This is a modifier. This is a modifier. Where is the verb for the theory? Let's continue. Developed in 1980 by physics Louis Walter Alvarez and his geologist son Walter Alvarez. Maintained. The verb. And what is between the two commas is a modifier phrase that is not essential. So now, the Alvarez theory maintained that, okay, let's find here. So this independent, clause, subject, verb. We have that now. So we start a relative clause, dependent. The secondary effects, the subject of an asteroid impact caused the verb. So now this dependent. Many dinosaurs and other animals to die out. To die out. Okay, thank you. Now we have independent. Dependent, a full sentence in number 20. A full sentence in number 20. Let's continue. It, subject. Lift, verb. So now we have another independent clause. Take care. We have independent. Then dependent together. These are together. How we know that they are together? Because there is that between them. So these together, we consider them as a full sentence, independent. Then we have another independent. We're going to do it like math. So we're going to put independent down. Now, if we have two independent, how we connect them? Comma, fanboys. Or semicolon, or full stop. So the only part here that I have is comma, fanboys. So the answer is gonna be out but. This for number 20. Let's go for number 19, and we are still in domain 4, but this time is skill number 1. This time is skill number 1. And here, verb forms. Verb forms. Where is in the past. Have been is in the present perfect. Has been in the present perfect also. But what the difference? What the difference? Here plural subject, here singular subject. Are is in the present. Okay. There is another thing we can look at here. Look here where it will come with the plural. Have with the plural. Has with the singular, are with the plural. So I can solve it with the odd one out. Plural, 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 and here singular. So I think that the answer is C. This is not verb form. This subject verb agreement. So let's look at the sentence here. Yes. The award winning book is. Okay. We have book subject is verb. So this independent. Harry's first novel, comma, but her writing. Writing in the subject. So now the odd one out succeed with me. The odd one out succeed with me. Has been. With an easy way. Now let's go to number 20, number 18. And now I move to which part? I move to the main one. And here with the the inference. How we know? Most logically complete. And if you remember, we changed our way in solving this question. We said that we're gonna read the whole text right now. We're gonna read the whole text. And by knowing the repetition of some words, we're gonna build our inferences upon. So let's find together, because while we are answering together, we are gonna highlight the word that is repeated to build our inferences upon it. Did the last way that we agreed to solve those kind of questions. Okay, let's find. He said birds of many species ingest foods containing carotenoids. Okay, so those birds digest or ingest or eat food containing carotenoids. What are these? They are pigmented molecules that are converted into feather coloration. So these carotenoids can be used by eating by those birds to change after eating or digesting them to be a color for the feather. Okay, coloration again tends to be especially saturated in male birds' feathers. So it will be concentrated in male birds' feathers. And because carotenoids also confer health benefits, carotenoids, it was mentioned up, and it's an indicator for health benefits. So the male bird that has colorful feathers, it will be healthy. The deeply saturated colors generally serve to communicate what is known as an honest signal of a bird's overall fitness to potential mates. So now, if we have a group of birds and they see that there is a male bird that is colorful, that means that this bird is suitable for marriage. However, ornithologists, mean the scientists that prefer or referring or studying birds, Alison J. Chaltis, take care, however, make a kind of contradiction to what was mentioned before. Ornithologist Alison J. Chaltis and others have found that males are in several species of the tanager genus Rhamphocalus use microstructure in their feathers to manipulate light. Those kind of male birds are deceivers. Why? Because they use a microstructure in their feather to manipulate light, creating appearance of deeper saturation without birds necessarily having to maintain a carotenoid-rich diet. So these findings suggest that I know now that not all male birds are gonna be healthy and fit to be or suitable to marriage. Why? Because this kind of birds are deceivers. those kind of birds are deceiver. They are using microstructure. They are using microstructure to change or to make a deeper color, deeper saturation of color, without showing that they are fit for marriage or not. Okay, so let's find according to my inference that I built now without even returning to the choices to find which one will match my words or which one is near. Which one match or which one is near. He said individual male teenager, those one that they are deceiver, can engage in honest signaling without relying on cartonite consumption. No, 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 no. They are not honest at all. Feather microstructure may be less effective than deeply saturated feathers or for signaling overall fitness. We didn't say that they are less effective or more effective. We didn't say that they are less effective or more effective. Because maybe they are not colorful, but they are fit for marriage. But the one that has deeper color is gonna be fit. This is an indicator. Scientists have yet to determine why teenagers have a preference for mates with colorful appearance. We didn't say that they have actual preferences for this kind of birds, that they use microstructure. A male teenager appearance may function as a dishonest signal of the individual overall fitness. Yes, for those kind of species. Why? Because they are deceiving by using microstructure to deceive others. So the answer is D. Let's go to number 17, and again, it's most logically complete, so it's inferences. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna read the whole text and build upon what I'm reading. Although military veterans make up a small proportion of the total population of the United States, okay, he talk about old soldiers and officers, they are a small proportion, take care of that one, of the United States, and he used the word although, a subordinate conjunction that show contradiction. Despite that they are small, they occupy a significantly higher proportion of the jobs. I'm not going to talk about that. In the civilian government, everywhere. Okay? So again, although military veterans, they are small, but they occupy higher proportion of the jobs in civilian government. One possible explanation for this disproportionate representation, he said that this is not accepted or is not suitable because how small number occupy higher proportion of the job. If that military service familiarizes people with certain organizational structure, and that's true because the people that they serve in the army or in the military service, they know organizational structure that are also reflected in the civilian government bureaucracy. And this familiarity thus, let's find now. We said that despite the United States have small proportion of soldiers and officers, but they occupy higher number of the jobs in the civilian government. And this inequality actually because the people that they serve in the army or in the military or the military servant, they actually know certain organizational structure that can apply them in the civilian government. Okay, let's find now how we're gonna build our inferences for number 17. So, make civilian government jobs especially appealing to military veterans? Maybe. Yes, because those people, they know organizational structure, so it's gonna be suitable for the civilian government. It can be A, according to my inferences. B, alters the typical relationship between military service and subsequent career preferences. He didn't alter anything. He didn't change. He didn't modify. It's just they are appealing to those work. Encourage non-veteran, that we didn't talk about them, applying for civilian government jobs to consider military service instead. We didn't talk about them. Increase the number of civilian government jobs that require some amount of military experience to perform. We didn't say according to the increase or decrease the number of civilian government jobs. It's only appealing for those because they are suitable, because they know about the organization structure. The last question in our homework is a scientific evidence. How I know from the word as true. What he wants here, he wants to support, to be with. Support what? Researchers claim. So let's find the word or the verb claim. It's here. It's here. So I'm gonna take this part and I want to support it. Take care that sometimes we're gonna take up, we're gonna go up if we find word that we don't understand or we don't have the full information. Here he said the researchers claim that outcome is highly unlikely. طب what is the outcome? What is the outcome that is unlikely, is highly unlikely? So now you have to read up the whole thing just to understand, to get an evidence that support the highlighted part. He said here many archaeologists will tell you that categorizing exaggerated fragments of poetry by style, period, and what object they belong to relies not only on standard criteria, but also on instinct developed over years. So it's not only on standard criteria, but also on an instinct that developed over years according to the experience of practice. In a recent study, however, contradiction to what was mentioned before. Researcher trained a deep learning computer model on thousands of images of poetry fragments and found that it could categorize them, the computer, as accurately as a team of expert of archaeologists. That they actually depend on standard criteria and on their instinct. The computer work perfect or more perfect than them. Some archaeologists have expressed concern. How that? خلاص شغلهم هيقف. That they might be replaced by such computer models. But again, contradiction. The researcher claimed that the outcome is highly unlikely. This will not happen. This will not happen. They're not going to be replaced by computer. Now I want you to support that those archaeologists, despite the perfection of the computer, they're not going to replace. They are not going to be replaced. Okay, let's find. In the research study, the model was able to categorize the poetry fragments much more quickly than the archaeologist could. Okay, this actually will support that they're going to be replaced. This will support that they are going to be replaced. B, so it's not A. In the research study, neither the model nor the archaeologist were able to accurately categorize all the poetry fragments that were presented, and that was actually doesn't match what was mentioned here. This doesn't match what was mentioned here because the model or the computer model succeeded in. A survey of archaeologists showed that categorizing poetry fragments limits the amount of time they can dedicate to other important tasks that only human experts can do. Leave this work for the computer model. But we have other work that computer can't do. That you need us. You need us as archaeologists. Yes, this will support. A survey of archaeologists showed that few of them received dedicated training in how to properly categorize poetry fragments. Okay, if they are not well trained, we're going to replace them. So the answer is going to be C. And that was the homework